are live here for Tuesday Talks. Now, Tuesday Talks is all about getting to know an individual, finding out what makes them tick and what do they care about, how their career reflects that, and what motivates them to keep going. Today's guest is Tim Goertz. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correct. Tim's from the Netherlands. So by education, he is a electrical engineer, interested in psychology, management, productivity, spirituality, self-development, and quantum physics. So that's quite a lot of stuff that he's interested into, right? So let's bring out Tim here on the stage on this live. Conversation with Tim whilst we were both in Estonia for Mind Valley University, which you can find in our episode already there. And Tim already had a nice share all there. Tim is here now. Hey Tim, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm very good. How are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you very much for taking the time out and joining Tuesday Talks.
Perfect, thank you.
So I've done a short introduction of us already, about yourself, but you're the best person to let the audience know, what do you do, who you are, and the biggest question that will kick off this conversation as well is, why do you do it, Tim? So take it away.
Oh, perfect, thank you very much. My name is Tim Goertz. I'm originally from the Netherlands. I have been educated as an electrical engineer, so a very technical mindset. And recently I kind of started leaning into my own spiritual journey, my own personal one for self-development. In that process, I came across the productivity sessions and the ordering of busyness in my life, because I kind of felt overwhelmed. And other than that, who am I? I'm a person who started traveling, started to opening up to more communities, to more social calls, social communities. I really love that.
Wow. And so the biggest thing would be like, why are you doing all of these things now?
A little bit of self-development, as in how can I be the better version of myself tomorrow comparison to how I am today. And just focusing on those little 1% rules, 1% improvements in life. And it really makes me feel good. So just the motivator is the dopamine shot of me feeling good, having a higher vibration myself.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. That's actually it's good to know, and it's refreshing as well that, you've got this personal development drive in you that wants to get yourself better. And if you're focusing on that 1% every day, the compound effect of that is, 365 right at the end, right? So it's like you're a whole new person every year or every day, basically, right? So the compound effect is a whole new personality by the end of the year, right?
Yeah, what James Clear explains in his Atomic Habit book, if you focus on 1% each day, after a year, you'll become 38% better, 38 times better to that first moment because of your compound interest.
Wow, exactly, and that's an amazing, isn't it? And I've not read the book itself, but I have heard from people mentioning, and I love the Atomic Habits because of it is how it tells you to stack your new habits on top of the older habits, so it doesn't feel like you're doing something out of place, and then your body just continues, and before you know it, it becomes part of your actual routine or habit, right? And it's just there. You're just going to do it. And what an amazing start for our Tuesday Talks with all these wonderful conversations of habits and everything. So, I mean, take us through your journey in terms of like, where you are now and where you're up to.
Where I am now. Now I'm having my own business, my own my own company where I teach people how to deal with the overwhelm of information and the busyness in life. A little bit the escaping of being stuck in the time trap, feeling busy, and giving people the freedom itself to focus on themselves in focusing on the being instead of the doing, where a lot of us in the Western world are stuck in. And that is something that has kind of been created because of my personal journey, as in me being busy in different corporate worlds, as in so many mails coming in, so many actions, so many phone calls, so many notifications, so many friends, so many just information. With me being stuck in that rat race of giving value to my own life if I'm doing something. So the more that you do, the more that you feel like you're worthy as a person. Escaping that, as in focusing on the emotional state yourself, has been a really an amazing journey for myself and what I noticed for the people around me. So now I'm focusing myself on those around me, which I really love.
Wow. So you're helping other people around you as well understand from what you've learned and take them through the similar journey, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Wow. So I mean, I know you're well into your productivity and so forth. Take us through anything that you are okay to share with us here in terms of like how can somebody improve their productivity throughout the day that you've come across that worked for you. It might not work for everybody, but they can try it.
Yeah. One of my biggest changes was focus on actions and or manage your actions and don't manage your time. Because if you're managing your time, then you're kind of stuck in your own calendar. Just in control over your actions, you can actually free yourself for being present, for being alive. Because the emotional state of us being present in this moment is the most value that we are actually getting. And then we can enjoy our, let's say, our physical being.
I really like this, and I think there's a question coming up. I don't know if it. Okay. Let me see if we can pull this up. Right. So I don't know if you are able to see that on your side of the screen.
No, I'm not.
No, you're not seeing the question. Okay. So I can see a question here, which is asking. Just give me 1 minute.
And for me, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so I was just going to now read the question that is come across from Ilk. Okay, so if Tim could give only one advice, what would it be? That's a good question, right? So I think you'll be giving quite a lot of advices, but yeah, go for it.
Perfect. I love it. I love just giving value. The thing is, a lot of we don't actually prioritize actions as in multiple ones. The thing is, we only have one priority, and that is just here right now in this moment, being in this call. So having multiple prioritizations of actions, stuff that you need to do, kind of means that you're just not in control yet over your actions. The goal is to be in full control over all of your actions. And then we get into the 5 categories of getting things done. How do you actually do that? How do you actually split that? And then you become, just in control over your actions without you feeling that rush of, I need to do that, I need to do that, I need to do that. As in planning your days in the future to do certain actions. But then you'll just be action oriented instead of time oriented.
I actually love that. So my takeaway is a bit more like be in control of your actions. That would be so be in control of your actions, and that way you actually know what you're doing next, rather than you're
just having a calendar. We all have those calendars where it's just like tons of stuff on there, and we are like going through them next, and there's no I don't know, let's say it just goes through the day and you're thinking, okay, now I'm looking for the end of the day. You're looking for the end because your life is now being run by that calendar and that time of that calendar, right?
Yes.
We all been victim of that calendar. So we love the calendar. I mean, I love scheduling stuff, because I always say, and I'm a firm believer of stuff that gets scheduled gets done. So if it's not in my calendar, it will not come in front of my eyes. Even though if we've spoken about it, we haven't agreed a time and a date or a day, and it's not in the calendar, it's not happening. So it'd be like, okay, we'll keep back and forth, but if it's in the calendar, it will happen. Which means obviously the life is run by the calendar, but I'm taking away that actually be in control of your actions whilst you're following that calendar, right?
Yeah, and it's you have basically 5 different categories, and the calendar is one of those 5. But you have like 4 different to-do lists with different functions, as in next day, someday, maybe, and the waiting for action list. Every action that we actually have to do physically can be put in one of those categories. So that means whenever you feel like, or you have some time extra to work, you can actually go through your next actions and you can pick one of those actions. So that will also reduce the level of procrastination, as in, I don't really feel like mailing that person at this moment. But sometimes you're kind of feeling creative, or you're feeling like having that social call with that client or with your friend, someone else. Then you can actually go through your list, as in, now I feel like doing this. So it will give more freedom for yourself.
Oh, right. I really love this. So you can just bring it across over to your to-do list, I guess, right? Rather than someday or later, and you can have that there, and okay, I'm bringing it across, which is actually interesting, rather than being just like what's next on my calendar, what's next on the list. So which brings me to the question: are you a calendar person or a list person?
Both.
Somehow I knew that would be the answer.
Well, look, because the 5 categories itself is the calendar. So the calendar means a time-bound action. Our interaction that we are having right now is an action that we have to do in a certain time frame. There are certain things that are time-bound and that you actually need to do within that time frame. But outside of this list, outside of this calendar-bound or time-bound thing that's most calendar, is my next action. So that's my to-do list, where I write down all of those things. Now we're going to get a little bit deep on that.
Yeah, go for it.
But it's the creation that every action in your life has a certain spot, certain function in your one of those 4 to-do lists, or your time-bound, your calendar. Let's say the calendar. And having everything actually sorted out in that place, whatever you need to do, will reduce your nervous system, your stress, your feeling of still need to do that, still need to do that, still need to do that. You'll just organize your life in such a way that you can be fully present in the here and the now. And then you'll sleep better, your health will become better, stress is a massive, massive one. The definition stress is something that you're not yet in control. You're not in control of a certain situation. And if you feel like there's a lot of actions coming in, if your mailbox is 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 mails, yes, so it's a recognition, then you can kind of feel like, there could be something that I've missed. That will create an open loop. It's something that David Allen talks about. It creates an open loop in your own nervous system. And that's kind of, It's kind of bugging you internally,
Exactly.
and that will make you sleep less and be a little bit agitated, and kind of has some downsides because of it.
Uh, I love that. I love this share. That's an amazing share. And so that, because you're with the calendar and the list, and it's an amazing. So in terms of that, and it looks like obviously you're quite a busy person yourself, and you did talk about like with having control over this, being here and now and present. It helps with the health and with the stress side of things and everything. And I can vouch for it. So because we've met each other already in Dubai first for Mind Valley, and then in Estonia for Mind Valley University. So, and Tim's quite fit and healthy, health-wise. So and that's the first thing I did notice was you're full of energy as well. You're all full of energy. I was getting tired in Dubai. I was like, yeah, it feels like tired. Like, but and this Tim was just like, whoa, like full of energy. I'm like, wow, what are you having, Tim? I want that. Like, so now I see it. Now I see it. So you're being in control of, just being here and now and present. Everything else will fall into places because you're in control of it. So I love that, and that's what I'm taking away from it. And people who are watching us live or listening to this episode later on as well, we have actually done a shorter version of a quick impromptu live, which is posted on my Instagram as well, and Tim's second page for as well. What's the name of the second Instagram handle?
That is Goertz Productivity.
Yeah, so you can go there as well to check it out. And
Yeah.
So I would definitely recommend to check out more stuff from Tim. Now, Tim, you obviously have the other page. What's that all about? If you want to take us through, and how people can get in touch with you, what services are available for them that you are providing?
Yeah, so the other page is based on just giving value, as in what kind of insights can we receive from productivity, because it kind of has a bad rap. As in productivity, I'm working for the boss, so my productivity doesn't really matter. But just giving value, as in turning your 40-hour work week into a 4-hour work by just being in control of all those nooks and cracks, and especially now after the COVID time, where a lot of people are working at home. It would be amazing for the boss thinks that you work in 40 hours and you're only working 4 hours while still being paid 40.
Yeah,
that would be a nice add-on. So that's the page where a lot of value is just given. Where you can find me myself is I have a Linktree account. So that's linktree.ee/aim23, AIIM23. Because the business that I'm having is called AIM, and that stands for Action, Information, and Insight Management, with the idea of actually aiming up. So that just that 1% aiming up a little bit to improve, take that to the next level in the session of action management. In you knowing more tomorrow, understanding more of your own world, of your own emotions, of your own traumas, of your own that we are doing within Mind Valley, for example. And just being able to make everything traceable. Where do you store that piece of information of Jim Quick, of Vishen Lakhiani, of those nooks and cracks? You can actually order them and reduce all of the post-its everywhere and papers.
yeah.
That is a big one.
Yeah, exactly. Or the notes on my phone. My notes are like full.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's like hassle to just find it. Then you have like a brainwave, like, oh yeah, this is written in my phone somewhere. I'm like, where is it? Oh my God, it's like millions of notes, and iPhone doesn't make it easy to find the notes as well. So yeah, you just have to remember the dates. day where you've done it.
And it's difficult to actually decipher your own notes at that moment sometimes, or at least
Yes.
that's something that I had. Um, to actually go through as in, yeah, what did I actually meant by this? Because the future version is a different person than you are right now.
Yeah,
so you
that's 100%.
actually write, yeah. So you actually write it as if it's for someone else. So the same goes for your actions. Write it as if your personal assistant will do that. Pay that bill for the doctor. Pay that person. But my Linktree itself, and I offer discovery calls where I actually go through some people for that first action management, how to control them. And I'm having a course soon. The starting date is not yet decided upon, where we can actually go through those action management, information management, insight management in combination with building your own digital system, as in knowing on paper, by the way, as well, knowing where certain pieces of information is stored and making it traceable. That's the course that I'm offering.
I actually love that. So, and how long is that course? And what is the I would say I think you mentioned a little bit as well, but I mean the length of that course, how long is it? What do they get? Is it like one-to-ones or is it online?
It is a 3-month course. Weekly, it will be one presentation itself where I actually go on. Beside that, we'll have workshops, and then the workshops will be with smaller groups compared to the big group. Where you can actually go through all of the reducing all of your mail, solve your whole mailbox into zero, and be in full control over the stuff that's coming in.
Wow.
And the course itself is based on those 3 pillars. As in the first month, we're going to the action management, the second information management, and the third one insight management. And one of my own mantras is slow down to speed up. First thing, actually, let's see where everyone is at this moment, because we're so searching for that next solution, which makes it sometimes difficult to truly look on ourselves as in, yeah, but what do I actually want to achieve in life? What do I actually want to be or experience or do, instead of just being busy for being busy? Because we still have, especially in the Western world, the idea that our value is connected to the stuff that we're doing, which I believe it's not. The value that we are having is the emotional state that we are in. How good are we feeling at this moment? So then we get David Hawking's reading of the map of consciousness, which I really love.
I would agree 100% with that. The value of is how you're feeling at that moment and the emotion side of things. What you're doing will be something different, every year or every month. You could be doing something different, but it's how you're feeling at that particular moment. Are you loving it? Are you enjoying it? Are you content or you're at peace? I mean, obviously peace is a big word, because content, I quite like the word content, because you're content with the day that you're in, and you're happy at the end. Like, okay, this day has been a great day. There's no such thing as a perfect day, because you're always learning. Something will always teach you something. So the perfect day would be like, okay, I've learned something from today that I can now improve on tomorrow, or whenever this thing comes back again. And that's how I look at things, right? So every day, that 1% for me is pretty much what's the next thing? What can I do better tomorrow, which didn't work today? So when I'm looking at the day, okay, what didn't work better today, or what were the challenges that I come across, and how does that sit with me, and what can I now do tomorrow to fix it, or now moving forward, and I can replace that with a better habit or a better viewpoint now that I've just developed by just going through this. So a quick question would now come up to you, so you're having all these, well, I will say, skills to, make your day much better, and having these also superhuman powers pretty much, because you can be here in the present. How do you now have any morning routine or rituals, as some people like to call it? Do you have something that you do in the morning to get the day going before you look at your calendar or productivity stuff?
Not in the traditional sense, as in not something as in first brushing my teeth and then have breakfast and then have shower and then all of not the physical things, but my main focus is feeling happy. So am I feeling okay at this moment? That's a little bit the reading of Abraham Hicks and Esther Hicks, where they actually go into the session as in you're in that dream state. You are just being the purest version of yourself, and the physical world, where all of us are included in, is it's not really limitations, but it makes it's the struggle sometimes, because we have the news and we have the social media that has some downsides, or you have some jealousies, or you have some ideas of interactions of the world, and you kind of have a viewpoint upon that. But if you focus yourself as in waking up and staying happy, or at least staying in a higher vibration comparison to how you were yesterday, is a main focus for me.
And so how do you personally achieve that higher vibration of waking up happy? Is that something working for you?
For me, whenever I think about something, I write it down. So I have my own brain dump where I actually write down all of my stuff. And then later on, actually being able to review that as a second person or as a third person perspective. Because then you kind of get the emotions out of it. I've been really mad in the future, or in the past.
So you write down things as a third person, right?
Well, I write down things as in the moment where I'm feeling it, as in I'm really angry, I'm really this, I'm annoyed by this, I'm annoyed by that, and I write it down, and then I'll actually be able to drop that emotion, because later on, a day later, for example, actually view it as a third person, and then judge it as in, is this really, what kind of feeling was behind this? So for me, it's my own exploration of my own shadow work of traumas that I kind of got better and better. But I was able to do that because I could find my information, my experiences that I had in the past. I could review them. So it's not only the writing the emotion down, it's actually being able to trace something back, what happened half a year ago, a year ago. I said, that was the reason why that certain behavior came out. That makes me solve that internal piece. And that's something that I actively use to raise my vibration, to let go of those traumas, of those expectations, to just be here in the present and being fitter because of it, because healthier, happier. My mental, my mental state become better, and my brain fog reduced. Because all of those things.
Wow, I that's quite interesting as well. That you're able to write it down and then look it back as as a third person, and then you can connect things, how and what's that certain reaction that are happening because of this in the past, and which means you get the clarity, and then you're able to wake up in the morning at peace and much more happy. And I will add the word joyful as well, right? Because if you're happy, you're joyful, so you're looking forward to the day, right? Not waking up tired and like, okay, yeah, just another Tuesday now today, you know. Exactly. So I that's an amazing share, and lots of golden nuggets for people to take away. So the thing I was going to ask, so that's what you're doing because I was going to say what you do for closing the night as well. So you're pretty much like doing the brain dumps, I take it, when you're closing the night, or is there anything more that you do to prepare yourself for the morning? Or the next
Not specifically, because that brain dump, I do that during the day. Whenever a thought comes up, I write it down directly. Now I'm focusing more on the vibrational sound. So actually having meditation music or sleeping music specifically, increase my level of dreaming. Is to have bigger chance on dreaming. And since recently I've been leaning into the frequencies, as in the physical vibrations of sound into the body, to heal myself a little bit better. So that's something that I'm kind of experimenting with. So just in the evening, I just go to bed, just close my eyes, sleep within 3 minutes, and
wow,
just enjoy. I
think if anybody wants to take away anything from this last few words, will be like, sleep in 3 minutes.
Yeah,
that's like
because,
so amazing.
Because the thing is, whenever we're not actually able to do that, something is still
playing on our mind.
Yeah, it's still in our mind, and it's still kind of resisting. It could be an unsolved trauma. It could be some certain idea that's inside of your head. I had my sleepless nights where I really didn't sleep, because even though it could be the job that kind of was stressing me out, but it could be a trauma that I didn't process just yet. And because of my trauma, because of my journey, I kind of process those more and more. And yeah, Mind Valley has been an amazing help for that. So that's amazing for the last year.
Yeah, no, that definitely, I agree with you there. Mind Valley is an amazing help. we are. This episode is not sponsored by Mind Valley, by the way.
Not yet. They will. Law of attraction, it will.
Exactly. We are just two fond people of Mind Valley who are very heavily committed with the communities of Mind Valley as well. So that's where we will leave that Mind Valley thing too. But it is amazing. Yes, Mind Valley does help and support with quite a lot of stuff there. Okay, so that's quite amazing. So I mean, we should be wrapping this up shortly as well, you know, in terms of there's been so many great takeaways for everybody who's been watching us live on Instagram or listening to us this later on, because this will turn into a podcast in a few months' time as well. So if there was something that, what do you know now that, you know, you would love to have known when you were a teenager?
Focus on the feeling and not on the intellectual brain. Focus on how you're feeling internally.
So it's more of like a trust the intuitions, because that's part of that, right?
Yeah, that's the result. But I kind of thought that the world was pretty logical and logically built, basically. But it's mostly emotionally built, because of everyone has their own storyline and their own belief and their own vision of the world. And leaning into that more and more, just understanding your own emotional being and then understanding other people's emotional beings, where they're coming from. Yeah, that's really helping me right now. And that would have been useful for in the past. But on the other hand, this is the reason why I'm so analytical as the way that I am. So it's useful both ways. I'm very happy that my life turned out the way that it did.
Exactly. Well, it's good to know that, but it's good to know that to tune into your feelings and acknowledge them, right? And how you're feeling. Yes, you need the analytical sides and everything, but we also need to then balance ourselves with the feelings of how you're feeling and emotions and everything. Acknowledge and sit with it and move forward with that. If you wanna, you can analyze the emotions and feelings that you're getting because you've already know how to now be an analytical person. I love that. So the last question would be, what would you like the guest that's been listening to us to take away from today's conversation? What would be your final message for them?
Write stuff down and actually organize them. Actually, it's worth to write down your own experiences, to explore them as a third person. You are not your thoughts, but you are the observer of your own thoughts and of your own emotions. And you can kind of make them better. So that's the consciousness that we're having. Yeah, so write down your thoughts. That's the biggest one.
I love that. So write down your thoughts, but I'm going to be taken away. You're the observer of your thoughts as well. So which is actually quite interesting because my mind is very vivid and it's very photographic and film, so like when we're having conversations and everything, my thought process is always images, right? So I'll see a moving picture and all that stuff. So that's how I did it. So and then I'm already watching it in a third person because I am watching that movie, right? So and
Yes.
therefore I love that takeaway, to write down your thoughts, or what was the other one I was just saying, your view your thoughts as a third person.
Yeah. Observe them as a third person because you are not your thoughts, but you are the observer of your own thoughts.
Yeah, observe your thoughts as a third person. I love that. Now, Tim, I would like to say thank you very much for today coming on to Tuesday Talks and the guests who have been listening to us live. So thank you very much as well. And whoever's listening to this after as a podcast or because it will be left on our Instagrams as well. People who've been listening to us, and if you had any spark or any aha moments and amazing takeaways from our story, it's our duty now to share this episode with whomever that's come to your mind or you think should be watching this, because we don't know who's woken up or going to bed with thinking of a better day. So if it's created that spark in you, it might just create that spark in them as well, and that's all we need to get the engines running, get those momentum going. So we just need to share this episode with whomever you think should be watching this so they can take the step that they need to take as well, because productivity is essential. We need that. And we have Tim here who is helping everybody who wants to be better at that, have those superhuman powers, right? Be with yourself today and not I will say not slave to the calendar as we are most of the time, right? Exactly. So Tim, once again, thank you very much for your day today and coming on to Tuesday Talks.
Thank you very much.
Bye.